When I think of you, all I have to do is take
Welcome.
a look
We are
at
all just walking
you,
each other home.
everything you do. Bambos, bambos, bambos. We are here with a guest who hasn't arrived yet.
If they don't come, we're going to talk about chapter.
You're going to read each chapter of the
No,
book.
we're gonna talk about the what do you call it? The forwarding, like the first,
The forward, yeah, the welcome chapter
the
of the
welcome
of the book.
chapter.
You've been listening to that on auto. We see that she's on now, so we see her face, but we're not going to bring her on yet. Shirlena, there's one question we ask everybody before they come on, and the question is:
Is there anything we don't talk
is
about?
there anything we don't talk about? So if there is anything we don't talk about, go ahead and put it in the private chat, and then we won't ask you about that. Other than that, we're going to introduce you for the next few minutes.
Yeah. So
And you know what the worst part is that when we introduce somebody, I always want to know how to say their name correctly.
yeah,
And what would you, if you had to take a bite at it?
Shirlena.
Shirlena. Okay, we're only going to say Shirlena Barnett. She's married, so she's got a hyphen in the name now, and so I'm not going to touch the second name. just to keep we can't hear you, Shirlena. We can see your mouth moving. We can't hear you till you come on. So we know you're racing here to get here, so we thank you for that. So Shirlena, I caught a wind of her when I looked into the Facebook groups about interesting stories, and she had such a sweet smile. I said, I'm just getting her on. I don't care what the hell we're going to talk about. and then I saw the backstory of 7 years, and I believe 7 years of looking for a kidney. Yeah. Oh, funny. I like it. She says, take the picture down that's in the background and put another picture up. So that's the chat thing we had. So I can put up another picture if you'd like. You can nod your head at the picture you like best, Shirlena, but you're the one that has to choose what you're going to get, because this is all I've got available at the moment.
And where are we going to do this, Andy?
We're going to talk to Shirlena about living for 7 years and waiting for a kidney. And where we're going to do that, Bambas?
Wonderful chaos, Mr. Shaler.
It is.
It
is a wonderful chaos. That might be one of the most chaotic starts to any one of our shows. Would you say that or not?
I would say that we've had worse. Like
We've
things
had
not
worse?
working and
Yeah. Okay, agreed. But we've never done 6 backdrops before guests has come on, and this is the word. This backdrop is, how we went from one backdrop to this is just the best.
Let me
just pick one that you feel like would be like something that would be.
We're gonna celebrate.
We're gonna celebrate.
And
Shirlena.
look at that. That's an avalanche of cuteness.
You can't do worse than a dog in a party hat. I mean, that brings joy to everyone's life.
Or if it was a Chihuahua in a party hat, it could be worse.
So Shirlena, I got in contact with her through one of these Facebook groups, as I said, and what I found really sweet was that, and it dawned on me, is that whenever I talk about gratitude and someone says, how are you, and I'm just saying, you know what, I'm healthy. Like everything else is secondary to that, right? If I'm healthy, then others, I can talk about all my other troubles, but I'm healthy. And when I thought about bringing her on, I thought, wow, how is it when you're really living day to day thinking, I'm waiting for a kidney? Like I'm waiting for a kidney. Like, how is that life? And it's so easy to take it for granted. We always talk about gratitude and, how weird it is to say I'm grateful for the air, or I'm grateful for my heart, or I'm grateful for just my health. But these are things that are really keeping us going, and we don't even acknowledge them, as such.
Reminds me a little bit of in your book when you talked about people listening to their hearts.
Yeah.
Like just my whole life I've took for granted.
Yeah, it was in the book. I always like to reference it a little bit when we talk about stuff in the book or anything. They said in one of my trips, I went and I was thrown into a group, and they had an EKG, and they could listen to their own hearts, and they had a light in their hand that beeped to their heartbeat. And for these people, it was the first time they actually heard their own heartbeat. And then the fascination was, first thing happened was there was judgment. People like, that's too fast. And then not even knowing if it was relative to another thing. But then later came up like the deep gratitude of hearing their own heart and realizing this thing is working on their behalf and they're not even considering it all the time. So that's been something that I've often found really deep gratitude in. And if there's anything, as you know, the last 2 weeks I've walked over 200 kilometers, and that I stepped on the scale and I was 96 or 97 kilos, which is certainly the heaviest I've ever been.
Before or after?
Before.
And now?
Probably 96, something like that. 96, maybe a little bit less. But the thing was that I said, you know what, run, Forrest, run. Like it was like, instead of running, I walked. But I just said, it's time to take care of myself, because the body I've taken for granted, I've not taken care of it. Yeah.
And you said you wanted to do a walk from the coast?
Yeah, I've decided today I'm going to walk the coast of the Netherlands. I'm going to start in Rotterdam and walk up the sandy part of the coast as long as it hasn't eroded to Den Bosch. I think Den Bosch is the furthest point.
Den Bosch.
Yeah, Den Bosch. So that's 125 kilometers. So maybe 5-6 days I can do that. Yeah, that was a decision just made that was one of those decisions like we talked yesterday. Like I just said it and it knew it, and like, oh, I'm doing this. And I told Ronnie that's what I'm doing. So yeah.
Love it.
I've got a lot of things to discuss with you, and I want to discuss with them probably on another time, but I've been bursting with things to discuss with you.
Shall we bring Shirlena on?
I think it's time to bring Shirlena on. Yes. There she is.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well. Thank you. I mean, I called you 15 minutes ago thinking there's no chance in hell you're going to make it.
It's been a busy morning, honestly.
Yeah. You had your own health issues. I gather.
Recently. Yes, I got food poisoning.
That is the worst.
It is. It was the worst. I'm still weak from it, but got to keep pushing.
Yeah, I had it about a month ago.
Really?
And oh yeah. I mean, I don't even want to say what I ate, but someone got caviar, and I ate caviar, and I spent a day and a half throwing up and going to the bathroom. And the worst part was that it came back every 2 hours, so I couldn't get. Literally, I had to get sick every 2 hours. It wasn't like I got it out of my system. It was literally my system kept purging. So I don't know. And I make horrible noises when I throw up. Like
okay. If I let him go, he'll go. Shirlena, my first impression of you, like, you have this beautiful smile.
Thank you.
And apparently you are having what we would call challenges with your body, and the way you're showing up says a lot about you as a person.
Thank you.
Do you have children?
No, I don't. I have step kids and god kids.
What's a god kid?
This is the godmother, right?
I'm the godmother of 3 awesome kids.
Yeah.
Yes, they're my babies.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tell us. I saw your book, Mustard Seed. I think that came out this past year.
Yes, it did.
And it's funny because when I read the bio for that book, it doesn't say my journey. It says a journey of a woman, and then it explains it. So I had a hard time saying, was this a biography or was it a story you made up about a woman who lived exactly the same life you did?
No, it's about me. It's about my journey of going through kidney failure out of nowhere and just being diagnosed with it, and everything happened so fast. So I kept a journal for 10 years. So the book is about everything I went through and how my faith kept me going.
Can you take us back? Because what I got was that at 28, that was when all this went down.
Yeah, that's when hell broke loose at the age of 28. Went to a doctor's appointment right before me and my husband's getting ready to go out of town. Well, he's my boyfriend at the time. And The doctor told me I needed a kidney ASAP and I needed to get on dialysis. So
hold on, but that came out of nowhere?
Yeah, it was just like, excuse me? Yeah.
There was, I mean, you must have had some clues coming up to this moment. Wasn't there things like going that didn't feel right? You're like, oh, I got to get this.
I used to have headaches a lot, but they diagnosed me with migraine headaches. And so they put me on the strong medication that had damaged my kidney, but I was told I would never have to worry about it. And, it was fine. And they would check on it like every few years. And so I had just seen a doctor maybe a few months before then. And so I just went for a checkup. And he told me just like that, like, you're going to have surgery upcoming Tuesday to get a port. You need to get on dialysis ASAP. If you don't get a kidney with a year, I don't think you'll survive. It was just like that. So I took the information in. It messed with me mentally. I didn't react. I think I was just shocked. And so right after that, I went out of town. And I didn't tell a soul. Well, I told my parents and my boyfriend at the time, but I didn't say nothing to nobody else. I just kept going.
And you were supposed to get married right at this time as well?
Some years later, I got engaged. And right before the wedding, I refused to even go on dialysis. I just refused. And so I flew back and forth to Ashbury, New Jersey, doing naturopathy. I was doing detoxes, colon cleanses. Like, I completely stopped eating meat altogether. I juiced for like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why you have good skin.
You juiced for 5 years?
For 5 years. It's just like, when I flew and met the doctor, he was like, he's never in his life ate meat. And he was like 80-something years old. And he was like, I don't believe in meat. He was telling me the horrible things meat can do to your body. And I did my first colon cleanse, and just to see all the parasites come out, it freaked me out. And I went cold turkey. I was so afraid that I did everything he asked me to do.
And so just to help me, so did you end up doing dialysis, or did you do this instead of it?
I ended up having a stomach issue. I think because I just went cold turkey. I ended up started having like stomach pains. And so he was giving me like this thing to drink. It was like olive oil, grapefruit juice, and something else. And that's supposed to make me pass gallstone. And honestly, it did, except one. I passed gallstones and one got embedded in my pancreas. So it caused like this unbearable pain. And he was like 12 hours away from me. And I wasn't finna get on a flight in pain like that. So I went to the nearest emergency room. But when I went in there, they did the surgery. They put me on dialysis without my permission. And so I was very heartbroken, about that. And so that's how the journey with dialysis started.
So as you're speaking, like I've studied Oriental medicine in my past, and I know from that education, every organ has a relationship.
Yeah.
And what I know about the kidneys, it's connected to childhood or children. And I'm kind of wondering, the question would actually go into your childhood. Who was Shirlena as a child?
Very spoiled. I'm the only child, so I was very spoiled. I was very loved. I come from a huge family, and we are very close. So I can say I honestly had a great childhood. Yes, I honestly did.
Where are you going with those questions, Bambos?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out too.
Like I said,
no, because I made the joke, but now let's ask seriously. So, in some ways, when from your study of Chinese medicine and these relations to the liver, what would be a typical thing that Shirlena?
I said childhood or children, so it can even be a relationship that you have with children or to your inner child, like how you hold yourself. And I would call that self-love.
It sounds like you're writing a horoscope now, Bambos.
Don't go there, please.
I can say I have a inner, I still like to do fun things. I love to ride four wheelers. I love to have fun. I would say from the years I feel like I have lost during this journey, I feel like I'm trying to get it back.
Do you?
7 years on dialysis was a lot.
Help
But
us understand, because I don't, Bambus asked me what's dialysis before we come on. And I tried to explain it to him, and I didn't actually have a
He
good
actually
answer.
didn't, so we said we're going to ask you.
We're going to ask you. So explain to us really, what is that, and what is it like? How does it affect a life?
oh wait, okay, dialysis. Everybody's different. It's different types of it. You can do it at home, which I tried. It did not work at all. It almost killed me, literally. I did hemodialysis where I went inside of a clinic, and they would stick this needle in my arm, that literally the size of a pinky finger. They would stick two in, and they would pull the blood out of your body and clean it and put it right back. Some people sit on there like different times. Like my time was 3 hours, 3 days out the week. So I went at.
So hold on. So just slow down. You're telling me that a dialysis is actually a replacement of the blood with new blood?
Yes. Dialysis is basically like your kidney. When you get on dialysis, your kidneys are not working. So the machine does what your kidney's supposed to do, is like clean your blood and get the toxins out. So the time that you on there, it's just like cleaning your blood. So it's a lot. It take a lot of energy out of you. And who wants to sit on a machine for hours out of the day? And by me being at the age I was at the time, I was like one of the youngest in there. So I was surrounded by people that was, basically older and from the nursing home.
Yeah.
So it was pretty tough mentally. But I wrote a lot in there. I expressed my feelings by writing.
Yeah.
So a lot of time I would write in there, and then I had awesome nurses, young nurses. So we would cut up in there and sing. It just, they would make it better for me, honestly.
Yeah. And you went 7 years through this.
7 years.
And how many times in a month would you need to go through that process?
I went 3 days out the week.
You needed to go, and if you didn't go, then the toxins would get in your blood.
Yes.
And you'd feel
that. Die.
Yeah, and you would notice when that happened. I'm assuming, like you would have
feel bad. I can't really. It's a feeling like I would be asked like how does it feel? I can't really describe it. It's like your body hurt. You always feel nauseated. I vomit. Like vomiting became a daily thing to me. You don't have an appetite. It just makes you feel horrible. The worst thing to me was I guess seeing people pass away. Like I might come Monday, I come back Wednesday, somebody done passed or somebody done coded while you on the machine. To me, that messed with me a lot, because I be thinking like, wow, they doing the same exact thing I'm doing, but they just passed. So it really would mess with me mentally. I had started having anxiety a lot. I had to take medication for it. Some days, I didn't even want to go in, and my nurses, they would either try to call my mom on me, or it was just hard for a while. Wow. And my faith in God truly got me through. It became to a point where I started my own nonprofit organization. Because I never wanted anybody to feel what I was feeling or what I was going through. So I was trying to prevent. I started having kidney walks, different fundraiser, donating, and educating people on kidney disease. So I turned my pain into power.
Yeah.
Well, I held my breath a few times.
I'm just having a hard time listening to this one. My God.
You found her.
And I had a question to follow up. I don't know if you had something.
I'll go after you.
You're going through this. As you're going through this, you're journaling about the experience?
Yes, I write everything down.
And so when do you write to the point and then come to the decision that I'm going to take what I've written and turn it into a book?
Being honest, I didn't think it would become a book for a few years. Maybe like about 4 years ago, I started saying I'm gonna write a book.
Okay.
Because during the situation, a lot of crazy things would happen. I'm not gonna say crazy. I remember one time they had diagnosed me. They kept diagnosing me with different things, and they would be like crazy things. One time they said I needed a liver, and I'm just like, huh? And so they prepared me for it, or I'm going to see this doctor, this doctor. And when I go back, my numbers would be perfect. They were like, we can't find no trace. Your liver's. It's like that all the time. Or it was like it was something happening all the time. And then I go and they have no trace of it.
Wow.
That was like nobody but writing about it. So that's when I decided, I want to turn it into a book.
But just to help me understand around that process, you did or did not get a liver transplant?
No, I never got a liver transplant. I got a kidney transplant. I know that's what you said.
Sorry.
Like, please do not
wrong show. Wrong show. That's tomorrow's show. Sorry, we're one ahead of you. I'm sorry. So you never got a kidney transplant?
Yeah, I got a kidney transplant. It would be a year Sunday.
A year Sunday.
Yes, Sunday would be a year. And how I got the kidney is even more crazy. Like, my whole story is crazy.
Yeah, how was that?
Share crazy, please.
Yes, please.
I had a freak accident. I had fell and tore every ligament in both of my legs, right? So the doctors told me they have never in life seen anything like that. Like, my legs was literally folded Indian style, and they could not pull them apart. So I had to ride in the ambulance Indian style in pain. So when I got there, the doctors came in, they were just looking like they were confused. And so they kind of like brought fear in me. And so I'm a type of person, as in I'm very strong. I don't too much show emotions too quick. And so I stayed in the hospital a long time. When I came home, I forgot I couldn't walk and got out of bed and retore everything again. Went to the hospital. The doctor said, you would never walk again. It's impossible. And so I panicked, but then again, it's just like I done been through so much of hearing the doctor say one thing and it turned out to be another one. And so I had to have emergency surgery again. And I went into surgery thinking I would never walk again, even to the point I had told them just cut them off, like just give me prostate legs. I'm not going to sit, in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I came out of surgery and the doctor came in. He took the little hat off. He was like, I do not understand. I don't know. But as soon as I went in, everything just came back together. You will walk again. I've never seen nothing like this, but it would take you about 6 months, maybe to a year. I didn't pay him attention then either. Walking in like 2 to 3 months. So it was always situations like that, or they told me it would be, if I don't do this in a year, I wouldn't survive. So I was always told stuff like that for 7 years.
Jesus.
And it was always to the point where it got to the point where they would tell me something, I would smile and just not really listen to them, but not pay them attention.
Yeah.
So my whole story is stories like that. Even when I got my kidney transplant, I got it from a place I wasn't even on a list at all. Like, I had stopped going to them because I was getting frustrated. So I was on Emory, Augusta, and Charlotte. And it got to the point where I just cut off all communication with Augusta transplant. I wasn't communicating with them. I was off their list and everything. I was committed to Charlotte, North Carolina's list. But the day I got the call, the lady called and she was just like, hi, my name is Leslie. I know this sounds weird, but I'm calling from Augusta transplant. And I was just like, I know. I said I was going to get back on the list. I have a date for April the 9th for evaluation to get back on the list. She's like, I know, but I'm calling you because they have a kidney for you. And I said, huh? She's like, this is weird. You're not even on the list. And I just froze. And she said, let me call you back. I got to check out something. So I really wasn't expecting her to call back at all. So she ended up calling back. She was like, your name keep popping up. We have a kidney for you. And I was like, so you want me to come now? She's like, let me find out the time from the doctor and I'll call you back within an hour. So I called my mom, my husband, and everybody. She called back literally in 5 minutes. She said, don't pack, come now. And so we flew to Augusta. When I got there, they couldn't find my name literally nowhere. So I started getting angry, and I was like, I know I didn't drive up here, and you got me excited. You gonna give me somebody's kidney?
Yours. It's your kidney, if anything.
Yes, and right before I was getting ready to like just lose it, a doctor came down, and he was like, we can't find you in the system, but your name keep popping up. It won't leave. So come on, let's get you prepared. And I was thinking like, oh God, please don't let them come in here and say, you know, change your mind or anything. So once I put that gown on, I remember telling my mom, like, they're gonna have to drag me out of this hospital. I'm not leaving until I get this kidney. And next thing you know, they took me back. And I woke up in recovery with the sun beaming in my face. And I had asked the lady, I was like, so when are y'all gonna do the transplant? And she laughed. She's like, honey, you had the transplant like 6 hours ago. You're in recovery. And I didn't feel a thing until I touched my stomach and I felt the drain tube and the staples. And then all of a sudden pain hit. So it just situations like that. I mean, I couldn't do nothing but write about it.
I need to take some steps back because I didn't want to interrupt that story, but there are 20 questions that came up for me. So you get that call. Like, what happens in your system when you get that call? Like, how does it feel for you when that happens?
When I got the call, that whole day was weird. I posted went out of town with one of my cousins after dialysis, and all of a sudden she called and counseled. And it's just like everything was, you know, happened for a reason. I froze. It was just like, huh? It was like an out of body experience. Like I didn't know what to think or feel. And so when they told me to come the whole way in a car, it just seemed like it took forever. And I was very, you know, anxious. I was starting to have anxiety, but I was trying to stay calm, you know, while we get there. And once we got there, it was just like my heart was racing, and I was praying the whole time, like, God, please don't let them turn me around. Like, please don't play with me like that. And so once, you know, putting on the gown and on the way to the operating room, I was just like, is this really happening? Even to this day, sometimes I still get up at 4:45 every morning, like I'm going to dialysis. It's just like my body wakes up at that time. And it's still hard to believe. Like I look at my scar every morning, you know, in the mirror, like it's unreal to even just to urinate every morning. It's just like I smile, like it's just unreal. It really is.
Because that was
such a blessing.
There was 7 years of being on dialysis 3 times a week, which would have been a rough 3 hours.
Yes, the worst. Especially being young and seeing everybody around you like living life and with no limitation. It's like I still travel and enjoyed my life. I pushed myself, but it was still limitations. If I went out of town, I had to find a dialysis clinic to go to. It was like everything was prepared. I had to prepare for everything.
When you were doing dialysis, could you urinate? Was that the issue? It just wasn't cleaning the toxin.
The crazy part, I had no kidney function and I still urinated more than my husband did. He used to always say, man, like you urinate like a cow. I would just urinate. But I had this operation. I had a parathyroid transplant where my calcium was very high. It was getting into my blood. And it was making me have like shakes to the point where I had started, like I could have had seizures.
Yeah.
And so they was trying something. I was literally was like the second person this doctor had ever performed this on. So he took my parathyroid out, he cut it in 10 pieces, and he implanted it in my arm, and it still didn't work. But after that, I stayed in the hospital a long time. Like I ended up losing like over 70 pounds. I was so small. And after that operation, I stopped urinating. Wow. So I urinated for like 5 years.
And that wouldn't be normal for someone on dialysis. Is that right?
No, like my doctor, Dr. Med used to always call me his miracle child. Like he always said, I do not understand your body. He always said, you make me go back to the books. So it wasn't like heard of. Anybody else I talked to, if they did urinate, it was maybe like a little, like a drop. I was like full blast.
Yeah, but that wasn't getting the toxins out of your system.
No, it was just like fluid. It was not cleaning my blood at all.
Yeah. Wow.
When we got on the call today and you shared that you've been food poisoned, how is your immune system?
That's crazy. I got the transplant right when COVID hit. And so there was a fear, as in, because I don't have an immune system at all. And I done had COVID. I got COVID. And when I got my paperwork said I was positive, I went into like a panic mode. Then I thought, like, I've been told worse. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and like disrespect God by everything that He brought me through to panic now. My only side effect was a stopped up nose and like maybe a little fling in my chest, and they gave me like a bronchitis thing while breathing, and that was it.
And did that happen after the transplant?
Yes, this happened after the transplant.
Oof.
Yeah, it happened. And so with the food poison, me and a couple coworkers got food poisoned by eating something that somebody brought to work. And
don't watch the show.
Does
everybody know who that person was?
The people that were sick. But I ate it, and it's just like everybody got sick at the same time. So I was trying to make it home. It got to the point where my breathing was funny. I was real exhausted, like I had drunk 2 bottles of Benadryl. And it was like I couldn't function. My head was hurting, and I had no energy. And it got to the point I couldn't take it. I went to the emergency room, and they was like, "Oh my God, you are food poisoning. Like you are dehydrated." And I couldn't even hold my head up. And then one of my kidney numbers was infected. So they like had to give me bags of fluid and medication. But I went to Emory because it's closer to my house. And they was in communication with my transplant doctors and stuff. And I was able to like get everything back on track. But I'm still like weak from it.
Thanks for being on the show with us.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Like, what was your life like? Like, how did you relate to God, to life before, and how are you relating to life now?
Before, I mean, I knew who God was. I grew up going to church and reading the Bible, but I didn't know Him on this level until I got sick. Meaning as in, it built my relationship with Him because He would show me. So I knew I would get in situations where a doctor tell me one thing, and a lot of people put their faith in doctors, or they'll say this and they'll say that. And it turned completely around, and even the doctors will be shocked. Even got to the point where my doctor is foreign, so he don't believe in God. Not saying all foreigners don't, but he didn't. And he would say, "I guess your God then came through because I can't figure it out." And so by situations like that continuing to happen, it built my relationship even more because He showed Himself. And I learned to depend on Him even more. So it truly built my relationship. That's why my book is called Mustard Seed.
We haven't gotten to that yet. I had a question before that because we got to segue back to Mustard Seed, which is the name of the book, which I still have no clue why it's that. I want to know, did you know anything about the person whose liver or kidney, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying liver because I'm hungry. The person's kidney, do we know anything about the person who donated their kidney? What?
You're going to be throwing these little comments out.
I am.
For liver with lemon?
I know he was a young guy, and he died in a car accident. He was the age of 21, I think. Okay. And he was from New York.
Wow. And did you have an opportunity to, because of course the people who lost him, I'm sure were grateful that his legacy was actually supporting people like you to continue forward. So did you have any opportunity to connect or write any letter or anything like that?
Yes, it's a process with that. You can't just come in contact because a lot of people don't like to be in contact. And so I had to write a letter, but I had to send it to the transplant clinic, and then they sent it. because you're not supposed to put your name or any type of contact information with them. So it's like a process. Like they'll send a letter and they may or may not, respond or contact you back. And so it's just like a waiting period. So I'm just at the beginning stages of it.
Wow. I think I don't know if you saw, there was an incredible video of someone that had a heart transplant.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, yeah.
And then they danced with, I think it was the woman who was getting married. And then basically the person who received the heart danced with them on their wedding day, sort of.
Oh, wow.
Ode to the father. I'm not exactly sure who it was who died, but it was really a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
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 Wow. It must feel sort of weird in a way because, there's like this, someone dies and you get the benefit of that death. And there's sort of like, there's like a weird, like, you don't want to be happy that anyone died. And yet because they died, you get this opportunity. So it's
I deal with stuff like that. I feel, I have got emotion, especially when I found out how young he was. It's just like, which, my doctor said that it was like a normal reaction. Like that's normal to feel that way. Like I felt bad and emotional. And the crazy part about it, sometimes you get their habits or their eating habits or certain things. Like I'm a person, I never have liked sweets. No, they just never been me. I have never been into cake. No. Oh my God, after transplant.
I love it.
I love it.
Hilarious.
Like a whole tube of cookie dough. And I would eat it and then I would cook half of it. And like my parents and husband were like, what is going on with you? It was even to a point like months later, my husband like, do you need to take a pregnancy test? It was crazy. Like I would get up at 11 o'clock at night and just eat a whole tube of cookie dough.
Amazing.
Yes, and then I start like getting very emotional, like crying, like from anything. And I hold my feelings in. And kind of find out that he had dealt with some stuff as in like emotional. And he's a sweet person. So a lot of things that I get a lot of things from him. So yeah.
You said something earlier, and I have a different experience. Like I at least project onto showing emotion as strength.
Not so strength, I just don't cry.
And you don't cry because?
When I first got sick, I felt like I couldn't because I felt like I had to be strong for certain people, like my parents. Like if I showed, emotional side of me, I felt like it would have hurted them more because I can see that they were trying their best to hold it in. Like I'm their only child, and I have always been the center of their world, even that I'm grown, and I couldn't show emotions like that. People around me had a hard time dealing with the fact or seeing me on the machine or, and I just couldn't show that emotion. It seemed like I had to be strong for the people around me. So I would, if I did cry, it's behind closed door in my own time.
That must have weighed incredibly heavily on you. 7 years of good.
Yeah, it did. I have dealt with a lot of emotional things. Like I take things personal anyway, but it just like it became worse for me. And then it came to the point where I started lashing out. Like the least little thing would like tip me off.
Sure.
And I know it came from me holding so much in that now my tolerance with people is just like, I don't have tolerance with people. I'd be more quick to cut you off completely than to deal with certain stuff. Because I feel like I just had to protect like my mental state at this point.
I think that comes with age as well.
Yeah, it does.
Low tolerance.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no, I don't have time for this anymore. But I think I find that as well. I have a friend who just had a baby. And I laughed and said, I have a feeling like all the issues we've discussed through the years are going to change now because your priorities are going to change. You're like, I don't have time for this anymore.
Yeah, I'm about like they just like, I don't want to deal with no more. Please stay away.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
it sounds like you got in touch with this life is too precious for
Yeah.
anything that doesn't serve you.
Yeah, I just don't feel like at this stage in my life I want to deal with anybody that's gonna bring me any type of negative energy that's not for me 100%, or if I feel like I'm put more into a relationship than I'm getting out. It just that I love you, but I love you from over there. So please stay away.
Hallelujah. I
Please
could
stay
not.
away from me.
Hallelujah. Self-sacrifice is a really rough life.
Yes, you realize that your darkest hours, like who people are to you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've been through a lot. It's just like the cutoff game is strong. Like,
yeah, I can imagine. I have a question about those friends. Were there, because I could imagine that there must be, in my mind, there's several categories, but I see two in my head. Friends that are just incapable and like that are just, they don't even know how to help you because it's just so foreign to them. And then those that are narcissistic that just talk about their lives as if what you're going through isn't like the worst thing in the world.
It's crazy. I'm experienced a lot of that. That's why I'm a cutoff game strong. But I had an awesome support team from my parents, my husband, my pastors, and my family. Like an awesome team. Like I was never left alone. I never stayed by myself in a hospital. Like even my god baby Scholar, she would call me, FaceTime me. Even though she might talk about Minnie Mouse, but the fact she loved me enough to call me just to hear her voice would make my day.
Yeah.
So I was always shown love.
Like when I hear you speak, the word gratitude comes up for me. And values.
Yes.
Like, and I'm trying to, I was trying to tune into what kind of man your husband is, like, to probably working and loving you and kind of sustaining and supporting, right?
Yeah, he's awesome. He dealt with a lot. When I first found out, I really tried to break up with him because, by
didn't
him
work.
having kids of his own and, us not being married, I thought it was too much for him because it honestly was a lot on me. And so I remember his words being like, is you crazy? Like, I have kidney disease too. We're going through this together. And he kept his word. I mean, he stood by me and he never left my side at all.
Wow.
And he married me during the worst time after I was hospitalized. The day before the wedding, I had a surgery getting a tube taken out my neck that was connected to my heart. So he done like bathed me, cleaned me, fed me.
Oh,
He
man.
has truly stood by.
Wow. Yeah. He knew what he was getting into.
Yes, he did. I mean, he truly did. He's a trooper.
So he just loves.
Yeah. Sounds like a wonderful man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And that was before he had to say for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer.
Sickness and health. Yeah, he is like, he's amazing. He truly is.
Yeah. Wow. I've got other questions. Don't know where you're
thinking about the book.
Yeah, that's what I was transitioning to. So I have a question for you before we started. When we started this show, we had the cover picture that you use on Facebook was on our green screen, and you said take away that picture. What was the reason that we had to take?
That was not the picture of the book.
But that was you in the middle.
Yeah, that was me. But I wanted a different one.
I see that face.
I want a different one. We just saw the 5-year-old in you.
If you came on 5 minutes earlier, I would have given you whatever you wanted.
I know. I was rushing home.
I know.
Like 3 S's away from home when you called.
When you said just now, I want a different one, I saw the 5-year-old spoiled little girl.
I saw it. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. It comes out a lot.
So help us now understand. Now all I know is I see mustard seed and I see a horse on all the pictures. So my assumption on all this time has been that was the name of the horse, and I have no clue if that's true.
Or is it the horse trying to get in?
The name of the horse. The name of the horse was named Molly.
Molly.
Okay, in the Bible, God talks about the faith of a mustard seed. Mustard seed is very small, right? And it only takes the faith of a mustard seed. And so my whole journey was about my faith in God that got me to that point. So that's why the book is named Mustard Seed.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't believe you
So,
thought the name of the horse. That's funny.
well, I mean, I never understood why there was always a horse in the pictures for the book, and
No, the horse represent like warrior. I always would call, like, even with my organization, I call myself the kidney warrior.
yeah,
Because I fought for 10 years. Like, it was a constant battle
yeah.
that I always defeated. And so a horse represent warrior.
Okay.
And so that's why the horse is in the picture.
Nice. But are you even a horse rider?
I'm not. No, I don't. No, I'm not going. I'm not scared to get on the horse or anything like that.
Why
But
did you stand next to like a gladiator poster then?
because I wanted it real.
I just needed to see your face.
It's like you're trying to really bring that spoilness out, that demanding part.
But let's go back to the all seriousness, which is really quite beautiful. Is that in a weird way what you said we didn't really touch on, but there's a beauty to that this minuscule thing that basically might kind of go unseen by the eye is actually the thing you're putting your faith in, and through that it's grown into what you've now become, and that's really a beautiful story.
Yes.
We've never done a show on faith, have we?
No, we have a lot of people that in our show that have strong resistance towards religion because they've often commented that through religion we see that people actually have belief systems that push others away. So we have a lot of people that listen to the show that often are resisting any belief because of the consequences for the relationships of their society.
Yes, I don't even, being honest with you, I don't have a religion. I just have a relationship with God. So I wouldn't say that at all. Like, I don't do the traditional thing. I don't do anything traditional. It's just that I have a strong relationship, and I know who God is, and I know who He is in my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put religion on it at all.
Yeah. Beautiful.
There's a strength there.
Yeah. I like the way you stated that, because I would say, when I was, my mom was killed by a drunk driver when I was 18, and we were raised Catholic. But I remembered at that time I said, "Screw God," because if a God planned this out, then screw him, and if he didn't plan it out, then he didn't have any control anyway. So there's a lot of animosity, and then many years after, people would speak and say God and just use his name and his phrase. And I saw a resistance in me because I felt so much pain and loss from that loss of my mom. And it was many years later that I began to sort of say, wow, God is connection to something greater than myself. So whenever I heard someone say God after that, I always could connect it to something which was more ethereal, less concrete as this white man with a beard in the clouds, and more like a power deep in me, which is so beyond words that I could connect with everybody who spoke those words then. And I found that similar to what you just spoke towards.
Yeah, a lot of people like to depend on or lean on religion. I never have. God just be wanting relationships, and so I take my relationship with Him very serious. Now, let me make myself clear on this. I am not perfect by far. I'm flawed 100%. So that's another reason why I have to pray as much as I do. And so when people sometimes hear the word God, they try to make it seem like you are perfect, and especially with religion. So no, I don't. That's why I always make it clear that I have a relationship. And
nice, I love that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what your biggest flaw is?
Oh, I hold grudges.
with a resting bitch face.
Oh my God!
I do. I do.
You hold grudges.
Oh yeah. I have a wonderful relationship with my pastor.
Yeah.
I get in trouble and I say whatever comes to my mind.
Yeah.
And then a lot of time I don't realize I say it till after I said it. And half of the time, I don't really care about your feelings afterwards. But that's a problem I do have. I'm really working on that. I'm starting to think about people's feelings more with some people. And yeah, I hold grudges.
So you're on the show right now. If you had to forgive anybody on the show, is there someone you could forgive right now?
I said I was praying on it.
It's a constant work in progress. I love it.
It is. I'm not perfect by far. I pray about it a lot. But at the same time, my defense, I always say, it's not a grudge. It just be as in, I just feel like when certain things happen and disrespect or something like that cross, I just feel like it should be no type of relationship. And that's not right. It's not right at all. You're supposed to love everybody. So that's, I would admit I'm flawed.
Okay.
Really working on that.
Bambas has got a question for you. What's that?
Actually, I don't. But when you were speaking, Shirlena, it doesn't sound like it's a grudge. It sounds like you are very intuitive to bullshit. And maybe you don't always know how to articulate it, because I have that experience too.
I was going to say.
But you're like...
Well, you make me feel better, because I have always beat myself as...
This doesn't work for me.
A grudge holder. I get in trouble for that a lot. Like,
I had a long talk with someone today about it. In fact, I want to do a whole show on it that I didn't talk to you about yet.
Oh.
Is that at some point in life, there's an energy in people that you just don't want to spend time around. And what I think the difficulty is that when we judge it and call it bad, then we have to take responsibility for the judgment. But if we say, you know what, it just doesn't work for me, it's different, because now I take full responsibility. I don't blame them, and I get to live my life and they get to live their life. But there is no judgment. And I think that's the nuance, that little thing. Take out the judgment, and then there's no resentment anymore. It's your choice not to be around people that behave a certain way. That's what I'd say.
That made me feel better, but I know I'm still getting in trouble for it. But yeah, that's right. I mean, I do know people can change, and I ain't perfect. I done stuff to people, and you know, probably wanted forgiveness or probably didn't. I mean, I can't, really. I'm called mean a lot, but I'm not mean. I'm one of the nicest people. I really am.
Yeah, with that smile, I can see the devil as well in that. I love it.
Don't put the word devil next to
I
a
know
ghost
it. Don't
woman.
mention him with me.
Yeah, okay.
I'm very nice. I have a circle, which is not right. I have a circle, and that be mainly the people I be wanting to deal with, like, forever. I don't like the new people and that. I just be wanting my people, and I know that's not right either. So.
But I don't know why you're saying that's not right all the time, because if you're talking to two people who really accept there's certain people that I'm attracted to and others I'm not. So why would I spend time around people I'm not attracted to? And I don't need to judge them.
Sometimes Andy will get a message from someone, and Andy's like, "Oh God, I don't want to talk to this person." And what Andy told me the other day, his wife Rani said, "You have nothing to lose. Just have a like. Why would you make anyone feel bad?"
Yeah,
that was the thing. So you don't have to bring them in, but you can at least acknowledge and just have a quick chat. And so just to stay in relationship. And I really like that, actually.
Yeah, and Bambos felt better after I called him.
You're a dick. I'm gonna get resentful.
I like that.
Yeah, resentful. I don't know. I feel like if you can't be nice to somebody or say something nice, you shouldn't say nothing at all, or just don't go around them. So I'm big on stuff like that. Even I done got another phone. I still got my old number, but it's so bad to me that I end up getting another phone with another line just for and also for business purpose. But
no, I understand. You just some people don't get the new phone number.
Yes, going into this new year, I just feel like everybody should have access to you.
Yeah. I understand. This year I made a resolution, not a New Year's resolution, but I'm walking every day, like a lot. And I'm not arranging phone calls with various people who just want to speak, and I don't really know what they want or any intent. Like I want my time back, so I can relate very much with that. I have a question going back to the
book.
I need to say kidney, not liver. So the kidney issue that we're dealing with. I would love to know today, how, if at all, do you see or know that you have, that it's not your kidney? Like, what are the things today that you would say, oh, I think this is how I'm reminded that it isn't mine? Or is it just, do you notice it at all?
No, I don't notice it, that it's not mine. I do notice it by the medication I take. I have to take anti-rejection medicine for my body won't recognize the kidney, because as soon as my body recognizes the kidney, which is called an object that I wasn't born with, my body would attack it and kill it.
Really?
So,
Oh my God.
So by me taking this medicine,
anti-rejection.
I didn't know that. So your body has a natural knowing of what belongs there.
Yeah, the human body is smart. Like, it would notice, like basically the medicine is hiding my kidney.
Really?
It's hiding it. It's putting like a shield up to protect it. It's like a shield up. So that's what the medicine is. Just like standing guard around this kidney. So if I miss, like, I should never miss a dose or anything. I must stay on it at the exact same time every day, because once my body like, oh, it's something over there, like, you know, he knew, like, you're supposed to be here, it's gonna attack it and kill it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I know that this is not. No, this
and is that something like? Are we talking about a pill or a shot? Like, what's?
It's a pill. When I first got the transplant, I was literally on maybe 40 pills.
40 pills.
And it tempered off. It tempered off. Now I take maybe 5
a day.
Yeah.
And is it over a day, or do you take them all one time in a day?
I take a couple in the morning, and I might take like 2 at night.
Wow.
I called you a drug addict, by the way. Are there any side effects?
Yeah.
Because doing all this medication, geez.
I have a weak stomach. Anything from a bad smell to tar, anything make me nauseated. So about 2 of the medication makes me nauseated.
It's like when I walk to the airport through the perfume section. If it's so strong that I'll actually feel like I'm going to throw up if I spend any time in that area.
Really?
Yeah, you not?
Not perfume, but trash or tar, yeah.
See, I have no problem with trash or tar, because just
live in it.
Yes.
I have the same with synthetic smells. I just can't deal with it. I go for natural.
I used to wear cologne on the show, and Bambos forbid it because it would make him sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't frown like that, or else I have to give you like pills for the wrinkle.
Yeah, exactly.
We have about 2 minutes. We haven't really spoken about your book, or we have.
Okay.
I think the book was her whole life, so we've been discussing it the whole time, I believe. Is there anything in the book that we didn't discuss that you would think would be great to add?
My sales are going very well. You can get it on my website at www.mylovemykidneys.com. And it's also on every major platform, from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, ebook. It's everywhere. So you can get it from anywhere. And it's life-changing. And I have to thank my publisher, Miss Leslie Crawford. She's amazing. We still working hard on it, even though it's been released like November the 14th. It's still pushing and selling. I'm still doing interviews for it. And now I done start working on my documentary, which I started in 2017 with pro football player Mr. Tony Jones, which just recently passed maybe a month ago. And he's also had received a kidney a couple years ago. And so I started back filming this coming Sunday.
Wow.
So we're in the process of trying to get that on Netflix. So I'm staying busy. Then I'm working on a jacket line. So it's a lot going on.
Are you getting inspired?
Totally.
Yeah,
I want
that's
a
right.
computer jacket.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's his book.
Bambos loves my book.
Oh, I didn't know you wrote a book.
Yeah, I've got to actually. I came out with
He's an author
one.
too.
I came out with one very near to the time you came out with your book, so we were kind of in the same ballpark area. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check
Very
it
much,
out.
very much in line with everything we discussed. It's called The Wounded Healer, and it's
Oh,
very
okay.
much in that moment in life when you start to take the thing that you needed to heal from, and then you use that healing process as a support to others who are healing from the same thing.
Yeah, I
So,
need to do a lot of healing too. So
mm,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have to check that out.
yeah.
All right.
I think there's like 20 other questions I had, but I see we're at our hour. It was really, really wonderful to be with you.
It was nice being with y'all. This was my laugh for today. This is the first interview I have done like this.
I think we should
I
do
think you and everybody else has ever been on this show.
we should do a show with you.
Yeah.
I'm a grudgy bitch.
I like that.
Show, oh, you said it wasn't grudge. I'm working on that. I need God to deliver me from
Yeah,
that.
but we'll just use that title.
Just
for the
we use the
marketing
title.
purposes.
We always come up with a funky title, and then the subject we just go wherever it takes us. That's our lives, right?
Yeah, I'm working on that though. I'm gonna try to be. I'm praying that God deliver me from the grudge holdiness and just make.
I would love if you would do something for me on the show. And I've never asked this of anyone. Bambos can attest
I know what he's going to ask.
And in the book, The Wounded Healer, there's a practice. The practice is you take the thing that you judge most in yourself and you state it out loud and you follow it with, and it's fucking great.
I, Shirlena Barnett, will hold a grudge, and it's not F-bomb great.
Okay. It's not F-bomb great. I see that.
No, I need help.
I have some work to do there, but you'll understand the polarity in it afterwards. We'll get to.
You find your flaw and you own it.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And you actually celebrate your humanity.
You celebrate your humanity. That's what I don't want you judging that part of you. I think it's probably the strongest bit of you, and you have.
It is. I get reminded of it daily, and I know it's not right. I'm trying my best.
That's what we're telling you. We're not going to let you go there. We're telling you that quality is exactly what makes you so great, and you're still judging it. That's from us.
Okay, I don't hold grudges. I just refuse to put up with certain type of behaviors, and moving forward, I try to protect my energy and my peace. And I'm starting a new life, and I just want to live around people that love me the same and just a positive energy, and that is great.
Hallelujah. I'm with you.
So at the end of each show, we always ask our people to say any hellos to anyone that's out there watching.
Yes.
To my publisher, Miss Leslie Crawford, my cousin Raven, my husband, LaJarvin Barnett, and my awesome parents, Beverly and Winston Sturgill, my cousins, my family, my god kids, and my pastors.
I love it. It sounds like the Oscars now, Bambos. We're at the Oscars now.
Yeah, I'm getting prepared for it.
Yeah, you should, because the documentary is coming out.
I know. I'm going to have to send you the link to it.
Thank you for being there. And we'll put the links to the nonprofit, because there's the nonprofit in the book in the chat after this. So
okay.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Really great to spend the hour with you.
Day.
Yeah, we send you a hug. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That dog.
That dog.
I was thinking you've really been making pictures of animals.
I've been loving the animal pictures lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Yeah, I've always
steal my job at some point. Like one day you're just gonna kick me out of here.
Or maybe I'll give you my pictures. You can post them as if they're your pictures, and then you can sell iPhone shot. I wanted to talk to you about another issue, which is a shame we're at hour and 4, but I do want to discuss something that I've been giving a lot of thought to lately, and it's something that this last show's the infamous Monday show from 2 weeks ago, and then the show this last Monday, and I've been thinking a lot about sometimes how through our time together and being on the show, we've talked about that freeze time that you'll have or you've had where you've just sort of gone into that regression. And on Monday's show, you mentioned something about, I go back to that 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I realized that, and I've, I just create space. I don't necessarily do much there. I just let you be, and then I navigate around it. But it dawned on me that there is, with my tools and how I work, it isn't necessarily connected to what I also see could be supportive to your journey. And what I mean by that is I'm feeling more and more that the journey that, and this is obviously my projection, is a lot about trauma. So I've been looking into different people who work with trauma as a general focus. And I see that the rules of trauma are different than other rules. And I've even started to look to see if we can bring some guests on that are focusing on that area.
And use me as a guinea pig?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I'm more interested in the subject matter, but obviously if we goes there, that's great. But no, I actually do think that I had a friend send me a message yesterday, and he said he showed the brain activity of someone when they move into the trauma space and they freeze, because that's the situation this person had. And they said they use 5% of their brain capacity, 5% they can access 5% of their brain capacity when they move into freeze state. And he said when he heard it, he started to cry. Because all of a sudden, all of the things he was trying to fix and judged himself for and thought that a mentor could help him with, like he realized all that time that the trauma was the thing that he wasn't recognizing in himself. And when he told me that, it hit me really strong. And I thought about you and our contact. A lot of ways I told you, I just let you be, as far as I'm concerned. You've gotten attracted to the book and you've read and you've used the practices. But I also feel like the practices that I have, or however I could support you, is also limited by my own ability to support trauma.
Yeah.
And that was it. So that was the things that came up for me in the last day or two. I was looking into it. Yeah. And we're not going to do a show on it because I don't even know what I would talk about, because that's not my field. Yeah.
Thanks.
Sweet. It's Wednesday, is that right?
It is Wednesday.
Great. We've got 2 more shows this week. I have no clue what they are.
Watch the show from 2 days ago.
Watch the show from 2 days ago, and you'll find out. Do we have I Was Raped at 25 on? Is that right? Or no?
It's not this week.
Not this week. It's one of our uplifting shows, right? Love you. I'm going to go get some liver.
Have a beautiful evening, guys.
Yeah, really great being with you. And where are we going to do all of this?